A man in Cooperstown has been arrested accused of assaulting a woman at a home earlier this week. The Griggs County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call from Richard Sutcliffe. Now, he told the dispatcher that a woman shot at him, but in the background of the call, the dispatchers reported hearing the woman screaming and Sutcliffe telling her to stay down and stop resisting. Court records say that he is accused of sexually assaulting the woman and dragged her upstairs by the hair. She also told officers that he hit her multiple times and stood on her neck. Investigators say at one point a gun was fired, lodging a bullet into the wall. Officers say that the victim had scrapes and severe bruises on her face and body. Sutcliffe is charged with reckless endangerment, terrorizing, and aggravated assault.